So I've been working on some content to put out on my platforms, and I'm putting this out there not because it's fun or it's easy, but because it's one of the hardest recordings I probably will do in a long time. So, as someone who creates, the hardest thing about creating is to create. Now, it sounds weird, but it's actually more true than I realized. Like, being in the middle of a quarantine and being stuck in the house with your thoughts, with things you never thought of, your biggest flaws, your biggest mistakes, things you never liked, and things you always wanted, you begin to deep dive into your person and into your creative juices. So before I would say, well, I need to be inspired. Now I'm realizing, in being in quarantine, that a lot of my inspiration may need to adjust. And it's adjusting not because I'm inspired, it's adjusting because I'm growing. And it's the hardest thing as a creative to sit down and create in the middle of a catastrophe, in the middle of something that's catastrophic. It's even harder to create, especially for me, um, when you have to grow. And in growing, it makes you see yourself differently. Like, I remember watching, I forgot what movie it is, but in the middle of the movie, you found out, and the protagonist found out that they were not the hero, that they were actually the villain. And when you're growing, a lot of times you realize in stories and things you would have been dealing with, things you would have been um, going through in life, that your story was not the story. Your story was part of the story, and you may very well may have been the antagonist. And that hit me hard the other night to the point where I just had nothing to do but just go before God and cry, just talk to God and pray. And as a Christian creative, it makes it even harder because my art is a reflective of not just my faith, but my process and progress in my faith. And I'm saying all that to really say to all the creatives out there that this time, if you're able to use it, walk into the closet where all those skeletons are, pull them out and examine their bodies, find out where their wounds are, find out why did they die, find out what made it a skeleton in the first place, examine, do a post mortem on the corpses in your past, and you will begin to grow and find things. And the same things that would have scared or hurt or broke or terrified you before may be an outlet to grow, to blossom, to become better. And you'll be surprised on the angles and the things you learn about yourself. Because I've learned so much about myself just in sitting down and thinking and praying and finding God and listening to what not just the Holy Spirit has to say, but the stories that I would have been reliving tell me. Um, there will be content to come out this week um, about maybe two poems. For sure, one is going to finish, well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So one's going to finish today. The other one, uh, that's gonna be a little bit harder. But I'm aiming to put out two videos. But that's not the reason for this video. Well, not the main reason. It's a secondary reason to let you know content is coming. But the primary reason is to really let all the creatives know that it's okay to cry. It's okay to deal with trauma. And it's okay if you find out you weren't always a good guy. Because a lot of times we're not. A lot of times we tell ourselves that we are, or we have to do something, or we did something. It's not easy. And let it guide your art. Let the growth process of who you are, who you thought you are, and who you are desiring to be part of your growth process in your art. And you will see the most truth come out of you, and you will be most effective as a creative. So it's like 1:15 in the morning. Guys, stay safe. Wear a face mask. Um, but more importantly for the creatives, in this season, if you don't create, at least self-reflect. At least find yourself in this moment, because there's never going to be a moment like this again where you have no other distractions but you, your inner voice, and your thoughts.